Look at him throwing pumpkins at that white guy. And then look, the guy is knocked out on the ground and didn't even fight back. He deserves it. I'll tell you one thing, man. If I had 100 people, I don't care if they're black or white, and by the way, this has pretty much happened before back when I was a teenager. I mean, I've been in a fight with like 15 guys before, and I mean, I blacked out. It was the greatest pleasure of my life. I mean, I'm going to just be honest. I literally put like 10 people in the hospital. And that's on record, true, in Rockwall, Texas. You can ask anybody about me there. And the police came and like had me sent to the hospital, and they said, we think he's on PCP. But there was no drugs in me. It was an absolute pleasure to have 15 members of the football team try to kick my butt. And I beat the living hell out of them. And by the way, they were black and white. I'll go ahead and tell the story since I'm telling this. This is a true story. This guy was beating up my girlfriend's little brother. I told him to stop, so he punched me in the nose. So I broke his nose, and he had to have nose surgery. And I was a freshman in high school. And then his older cousin, who was a senior and a football star, came about a month later into the cafeteria while I'm sitting there and slammed my head into the plate of food. I got up and beat the daylights out of him. So 2 more football players came over, and I just devastated them. And then a couple more came, and I turned towards the entire bleachers. I shouldn't even be telling the story. And I went, "Ah!" And I charged and ran and just started savaging those people. And I'm telling you, I got so mad that the boot heels came off because about 10 people were on top of me, and I just savagely exploded. Blood vessels broke in my eyes, and I was just like, every punch was just like, it was the greatest drug in the world. I can't imagine the ancients and those swords and those huge battles, just for hours, I could just feel it. Ah! And I'd see about 100 people want to charge me. I'm telling you, I would just love it. Because that's when you can really live, is when you're outnumbered like that. Excuse me, I shouldn't even be telling these stories. That's a true story. In fact, one day somebody said, is this true? There was some forum talking about me, and they had shots of my, some listener had shots of my, what was it, high school annals. You know, high school, what do you call it? The thing is, you get every year. Your yearbook. They're going, yeah, this guy's crazy. One time he beat up like 20 people on PCP. I've never seen PCP. It's called opening a can of whoop-ass, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it's called. All right, I shouldn't. It's really terrible to tell that story. But I told the story, and it's true. Actually, I'm joking. MSNBC, it's all a joke. None of it's true. None of it happened. Oh, boy. I'm sorry. People tune in because sometimes I get a little crazy on air. I'm just imagining me or my family. That's why I'm going to hate getting old, though, because I am 40, and I guarantee you I would probably throw my arms out of sockets and everything else if I tried to do something like that today or have a heart attack. But that's what guns are for. That's why the NRA was founded, to arm black people and to train people how to shoot in the North, so when the Klan was going around to gang up on people and kill them, they could defend themselves. When 30 Klansmen showed up at your house to burn it down or shoot you, you could shoot back. And when blacks started shooting back, people stopped trying to kill them. And it's the very same situation. And that's why we have a Second Amendment. That's why we have guns. Oh, I'm just acting silly here, ladies and gentlemen. I shouldn't even be telling those stories. That's actually a true story. I say it was probably more like 20 people. I mean, it was a lot. It was a lot. And when the cops showed up, they didn't even do anything. They were just like, what the? Seriously, that actually happened. And then, I'll just go ahead and tell the rest of the story while we're at it. The city wanted me psychologically evaluated. And my dad said, I know my son's not crazy. Send him to whoever you want. I went, and they had that famous psychiatrist, Dr. Death, the guy that would tell whether somebody was crazy or not for death row in Texas. He sat there and did the analysis on me. People have you ever been to a psychologist, Alex? Yeah, I went to Dr. Death a few times when I was about 14 because the police wanted to know, how can he do this? That's the true story. Well, the truth is you just black out, folks. I mean, the thing is, I never started any fights. And then the problem was I wasn't even that big, so then everybody said, well, I can beat this guy up. And that's why I was in probably 200 fights. But about 75 of those, though, were when I was like 10, 11, 12 years old. But 120 plus real fights. And been in the hospital, had a compound fracture. I've had the whole 9 yards, folks. So I don't recommend fighting. I don't think it's a good thing. And I don't know why I've gone into this big braggadocious storytelling. I've never told that story on air. Probably shouldn't have told that. But there, now you know a real chapter of Alex Jones. And believe me, there's a lot more where that came from. And I think I'm just going to shut up today and not tell any more of it. We're going to come back and get into all the other news. I don't want anybody calling in about that, though. Just, in fact, I just add a proviso that we're just having fun here today. A little bit of entertainment there. 800-259-9231. 800-259-9231. We'll be right back. Stay with us. It's time to take the wrecking balls to the walls of the New World Order. It's time to accelerate our engines to full power. The truth is, in life or in anything, when they say go 110%, that's because you can really go 200%, 300%. You have natural governors built into you to suppress you from ever basically going too far and hurting yourself. The globalists take those natural governors and they dial them in to suppress us where we're basically not even alive anymore and are just these receivers that they can program. I want to be free. I want you to be free. I want justice, whether you're black or white, whether you're old or young. When I find out about secret experiments on white Appalachian children, it makes me want to throw up. When I learn about secret experiments on black children, it makes me want to throw up. Because those are human beings. And what's done to them is done to me. It's done to you. And it's time to find our fighting spirit and say no to the New World Order. It's time to take action.